Hi everyone, happy Friday. I've been kind of struggling with my internet today. I don't know why. Um, but I'm finally on and the red light is not blinking at me, so that's a good thing. Um, so lots of fun things are going on. I was accepted and will be starting September 1st at Western Governors University um, in their accounting program. The nice thing about it is it's competency based, and since I've been working in accounting for quite some time, I can pretty easily test through a lot of the classes, so long as I can prove that that I know what I say I know. Then they will allow me to test through it, which is great because I have so much that I think I can test through a lot of it, and also it's online. It's at my own speed, and my own speed is usually pretty darn quick. So I still have a lot of work. It's going to be pretty intense, but it's something that has a lot of something that I feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, as opposed to when I went back to college the first couple of times. I just felt like, there was just so much to do and it wasn't going to be easy, and I was having to work on someone else's schedule, and I never liked that. Um, anyhow, really excited to be going back, really excited to be able to prove myself. My goal or my plan is to actually earn 2 degrees, one in business management and one in accounting, because I have yet to find an accountant that I work with a lot of accountants and I like most of them. There's a few that I don't, but they're few and far between. I really like most of the people that I know who are accountants and CPAs, but they're also not managers typically. So I'm really excited to kind of delve into the business management side, and that's why I want both degrees. And then as soon as I'm done with that, I'm going to jump right into the MBA program. And I don't know where I'm going to put my emphasis yet. I won't know until I finish my bachelor's. Um, Probably a little bit more on the management side, again with a heavy emphasis in accounting, and I may double master. Um, That would be fun. When I'm done with that, then it will be time to start studying for my CPA exam, and I have not yet decided if I want to complete obtaining a CPA license, but I do want to make sure that I can pass the test. And I'm not sure if that makes any sense to anyone. I just want to make sure that I can pass the test, that I could become a CPA if I chose to, but whether or not I actually get the letters behind my name right this minute, as of August 11th, I'm undecided. So, but there's a whole lot that's exciting and fun and wonderful that is going on. So I am really excited about that. Now I feel like I've committed to it and I have to do it. So that's always a little bit nerve-wracking. Um, let's see. So which kind trying to say like 10 things at once, and it never really works. Um, the next thing would be that um, Western Governors is online, and that means that I don't have lectures to attend. Everything is at my own pace. Now, that's one of the huge draws for me. I've been working from home for 14 years, and I really, really prefer it in a lot of ways. I am not a terribly social person. Um, I don't remember if I told it. I think I told this yesterday. When I was in my first real job in corporate America, my first office job, there was so much politicking going on. There was so much office politics, and I'm pretty oblivious to that kind of thing. I always assume that people are upfront and honest with me because I am an upfront, honest person. I'm very direct. If I am frustrated with someone, I prefer to tell them. I have a hard time in my intimate relationships doing that, which is probably why I have a hard time with those relationships. But as far as business relationships go, I have no problems with hopefully diplomatically, but telling someone, you know, I have a problem with this. The only times I don't is when I'm actually asked not to, because I'm so direct, and especially if it's in chat or email, I can be so direct and so pointed that people think that I am unpleasant and rude, and that's not the case. Kind of by an illustration, I have someone that I have to deal with. Fortunately, I don't actually have to deal with this person myself. I'm watching everyone else deal with her. And things will come up. She needs the accountant department to do things, and she will literally text every few minutes until someone answers her. And it's really frustrating because when we're focused on one task, every time she interrupts us, then there's a switching cost. And so I've already told the head of accounting, they've asked me to take over part of this, and I said, well, I'd be happy to. However, be aware that I will not put up with that, and that I will put her in her place. I will straighten her out, and you may not want the after effects. I would try to be diplomatic about it, but it really would be, you know, every time you call, you get in chat to ask us about this again, it takes us that much longer to get the work done that you're asking us to do, because we have to stop what we're doing and think of how to answer you, and then answer you, and then try to go back to what we're doing, and then what we're doing isn't good enough. So she's not a lot of fun. She may be the nicest person in the world. I don't know. I've never met her. But the way she comes across in the chat room is difficult. And everyone has kind of said the same thing. Yeah, lots going on. So since I will be starting school in 20 days, not that I'm counting or anything. My kids start in 11 days. I'm not counting that either. I was really thinking about how important it is to be an effective remote worker, not just a remote worker, but to be effective at it. Are we having problems again? It still says I'm live, so I guess that's good. Highly productive. One of the reasons that I like to work from home, like I said before, is it cuts down on the distractions. Now, I do have clients that I have a very few clients, and I go on site and work with them. And sometimes they're very upfront about, you know, I just need someone to talk to. But when I go in there, it is kind of with that expectation that I'm going to kind of have to give more advice, to think things through, to explain things a bit more in person. But I like to manage my interruptions. It's not that I dislike people. For the most part, I do like people. I like people a lot. But at the same time, again, it's this whole focus thing. If I'm focused on something, I really am focused on it, and I kind of get into a flow. And if someone interrupts my flow, then it's a bit more challenging to get back into flow. Hang on, I got to do something for it, but I can do it while we're talking. So, you know, every time you're interrupted, as you can see, I'm not really the kind of person that can do two things at once. I am very much the kind of person that, hope that's right, kind of thinks about one thing at a time. Now, a lot of people think that women are multitaskers. The fact is, nobody is a multitasker. I never could master, if I was in the car with my kids, and this is especially true when I lived in Germany, there is no speed limit on the Autobahn. I cannot be in the car with my little kids, and they would be wanting my attention, and the fact was, I couldn't give it to them right then because I was focused on driving. And driving to me is not mindless. It is very, I don't have to think about a lot because I'm pretty good at it, but it still requires my focus. I have to make sure the car is going in the right direction. I have to make sure this one had a manual transmission. I had to make sure it was in the right gear. I had to make sure that I knew where I was going, that I was avoiding all these other cars. This was during the reunification of East and West Germany, so I had to also keep in mind that there were West Germans with these wonderful, fast Mercedes-Benz cars and Audis and BMWs. They would come flying up behind me doing, 150 miles an hour as I'm doing, 100 miles an hour in my little American car and getting my teeth rattled out. And then I would come across this East German or Czechoslovakian who their car would barely make 45 miles an hour. So it was kind of hair-raising. It wasn't the kind of thing where it's not like driving through Kansas where you kind of sit back and you go on autopilot. I had to be alert every second that I was driving in Germany. So working from home is kind of the same thing. When you work from home, there's no boss here. The only boss here is the one that's looking at the camera right this minute. Just me. And I do joke that I have to be careful because my boss is a really demanding witch. And I demand a lot of myself that someone else probably couldn't get out of me. Trying to think. So some of the tricks to becoming really, really productive. I was looking on Reddit, some of the WGU sites. It's interesting because a lot of these people that are getting their degrees through WGU are non-traditional students. In fact, it's designed for non-traditional students. That's why their mascot's a night owl. And they're working other jobs. They're in the middle of other projects at work. They're single moms like me. They've gone to college sometimes multiple times before and never quite been able to finish. And sometimes if there's been a long break, especially if it's a stay-at-home mom that's looking to re-enter the workforce, it can be kind of hard to focus. And so we like to use a Pomodoro technique, Pomodoro is just Italian for tomato. And it just means that you set a timer for, some of these people say, I had to start with 5 minutes. I couldn't focus for more than 5 minutes. And because, college material is kind of dry sometimes. So they were relearning how to focus. And it's just kind of interesting to listen to or to pay attention to. See what I mean? I get interrupted and I have a hard time focusing back, even though all I'm doing is talking. Focus is something you have to learn. It's not something we're born with. Now, I am, at least told, I am ADHD. I have no idea if it's actually true or not. I'm kind of inclined to believe not, but I do tend to hyperfocus. And I also tend not to finish projects. I have an Afghan that's sitting in my closet that still needs some stuff sewn on it, so I can give it to my mom, and I haven't finished it yet. She's coming to see me in a few weeks. Should probably finish it. So you know, in order to be highly productive as a remote worker, it's kind of the same thing as being highly productive in an online school. You can't have, you don't have someone else telling you what to do. And sometimes that can be a little bit overwhelming. It can be just challenging to try to remember everything you have to do. I have a to-do list as long as my arm. And part of that is because I do have a struggle. You know, I go into overwhelm fairly easily. And unfortunately, with a to-do list that long, I still am going into overwhelm. But just have a lot to do. Yeah, there's no one here to do it for me or to remind me to do it. I have to be that person. So in order to be an effective remote worker, I have to do some things to help me with that. One is I have to manage my you know, I promise I can speak. I speak 4 languages, and I cannot seem to be able to speak English today. I have to manage my interruptions. So I have times when I'm going to be checking my email. I check my email first thing in the morning, I check it at noon, and I check it before I finish for the day. I try to manage, because I do a lot of my work late at night, but I don't want my clients contacting me during the night. So I will use tricks like scheduling Outlook emails. I schedule all of my emails through Outlook, and I will schedule them for 9 o'clock the next morning, which makes it look like I was really on top of it and got it done first thing in the morning, without necessarily me being on top of it and having done it first thing in the morning. It's because I did it when it came in. I have blocks of time when I take care of this shallow work. Of course, my phone goes off all day, and I really have no choice but to answer those calls. If it's work, if it's family, I tend to answer them because I'm always afraid that, and it's happened, that the phone call is not going to be, hey mom, I want to talk, hey sis, I want to talk. It's going to be, my car broke down, we're in the desert, there's no one else that can come get me. And it's happened. I mean, I've gotten that phone call from my daughter. She was stranded outside of, I don't even remember. And there was like no cell service for 50 miles. So she had to wait for a police officer to come find her, realize she was stranded, and then drive her to a store where she could make a phone call. Which, you know, that was, I got that, and she was just in tears. That she was dehydrated, she was hungry. It was midsummer. She was exhausted. She'd been sweating. Fortunately, she didn't have her little kids with her. And, you know, that was a 2-hour drive for me to go get her. But I wouldn't have let her, you know, sit on the side of the road in, you know, when was this, June or July? There's just no getting around some of this stuff. And so I do always answer the phone. But then again, I will also, if it's, my sisters love to talk, and I love to talk to them, but sometimes it's not a good time, and so I have no problems with saying, look, I'm right in the middle of something, can I call you back? My mom loves to call and talk to me, and I love it when she does. Mom, I love it when you call and talk to me. But if, you know, if it happens to be a bad time, I will just tell her, I'm in the middle of something. Can this wait? So I do kind of manage my interruptions. I still allow the phone calls, but at 6 o'clock at night, I do not answer the phone I stop answering the phone from anyone that I don't know. And at 9 o'clock at night, unless you are in my inner circle, I don't answer the phone. And it's like, it means I had to have my children, my parents, and 1 or 2 friends are allowed to call me late at night. There's a few people who can call me anytime and I'll answer. There are others that I just kind of like, you know, if it's after 9, it's not important. Not very many of them, but, you know, after 6, I don't answer the phone for anyone that I don't know. And that's just a way of managing my interruptions. And that way, that's some time when I can then kind of turn off the phone, turn off my mind as far as having to answer the phone, and then think deeply about other things. Oh, good, that's transferred. I'm going to make this really short tonight. Tomorrow, no, not tomorrow. Today's Friday. Happy Friday. I'm so excited. Tomorrow, there I go again. Friday. Today's Friday. Monday, I want to talk more in depth about how to be productive when you don't have someone watching you every minute. And it's actually the best way to do it. One is to manage your interruptions. Another way is to use this Pomodoro technique, which I want to talk about. And another way is to block out your time so that you know that maybe at this time I really can't be interrupted. If you know that mornings are when you focus the best, then you block out mornings and you don't take phone calls until maybe afternoon. I think it's going to kind of depend on you and your job. If you are, some people have to work more in the shallow work. Other people really need more deep work. And that's fine. You just have to know what's best for you. And I do my deep work late at night or very early in the morning. So I am going to call it good. I am wiped out. I've already had one nap today, so I think I'm going to go take another one. I will talk to you on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.